I mean, on the surface, it's a very simple idea, very elegant. I don't even think simple's right. I think it's a very elegant idea. But there's definitely a lot of infrastructure behind the curtain.
Absolutely.
And just because partially I know Seren, and partially because I know the SCA, I take it that infrastructure was neither neat nor orderly. It was figure it out as you go, right?
Absolutely. Those first few events were, for lack of better terms, absolute clusterfucks. But
I'm laughing with you, not at you.
I know that. But as time has gone by, we have finessed it into a quick and workable process. Now, I will say my husband will be the first one to tell you that quick and orderly process is mine and mine alone. Because I still feel like I'm working out some of the kinks. So I don't want to pass that on to somebody who's not
I totally
fully
get that.
Mentally committed to doing what I'm doing.
It's like when someone walks up to you and asks, do you need help taking down your campsite? Half of you needs the help, and the other half is like, no one else is touching my stuff. Right?
Yeah, that's why I asked for you to give me instructions that time. It's like, tell me what to do, I'm done.
Yeah. Where do you see Sanctuary going in the future? What does 2026 hold that maybe 2025 doesn't have on the radar yet?
So, I will say one of the future goals that I have for Sanctuary is creating a guild around it.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out how that process works, but originally I had thought about making it a household and decided that was probably not the route to go because it is a service.
Okay.
It's not a group, it is a service. So we're wanting to make it into some sort of a guild-like structure, and so that hopefully we can help it expand and maybe even get some SOPs written out for it so we can share them with other groups and everything, but also so that it is a little bit better recognized.
For some context, because household and guild are not universally defined the same way. In Onsteora, specifically in the north of Onsteora, households are homogenized along groups of people. It is a group of people who, whatever metric they choose, get along and are friends and work together. A guild is a structure built around a purpose that has no preconditions about membership. Anyone can walk up and be a guild. I know different groups outside of Onsteora have defined that differently, which is why I'm interjecting this.
Perfect.
So they're definitely, when we do videos, I definitely try and vocab.
Sure.
Because sometimes these words mean radically different things.
Absolutely.
I almost, and I'm saying this historically, not theologically, this almost sounds like the air of some of the early monastic hospitaller orders, like the original Knights Hospitaller. Part of the reason it was the Knights Hospitaller was we're here to protect, which we've just discussed, but the Hospitallers also, the hospital, they were a place of refuge, and a lot of their resources went into creating and building those places of refuge. I'm getting kind of that vibe from your direction. You want a unifying directive that people can voluntarily come in and go, I like this direction. That's kind of what I'm hearing? Which I think is, I don't necessarily have an opinion one way or the other, but I think it's a fascinating idea.
Well, and it also kind of goes along with the conversations that we were a part of making the decision for the event that was canceled today, of course, where I told you in that chat, Sanctuary will be whatever the populace needs us to be. Yes. Based on condition.
And we have hit a point where Sanctuary now is we're not wasting energy with, what the hell are you? This is, okay, what are you bringing? What do you need from us? This is and it's the same conversations that we have with water bearing, with the kitchen, with list coordinator, with site setup, with pavilion setup. It's, what are you bringing? What do you need? How can we help? What, it's you are fully integrated into the regional structure.
And in turn with that, Sanctuary, we are fully committed to pivoting so
Yeah.
that whatever the populace needs.
Mm-hmm.
Good example of that, and it's an example that does actually break my heart considerably. But during Medfair, we had storms roll through overnight, took down a couple of our pavilions on site. Our A&S tent was one of the casualties.
Yep.
And because that is a major recruiting effort for us, we were only able to provide sanctuary that Friday.
Yeah.
We did serve 3 people, so it was a win. But still, we offered to go ahead and terminate sanctuary services for the remainder of the event so they could use our pavilion.
To expand on this, the Med Fair she's talking about, the Norman Medieval Fair, which is not an SCA event, is hosted by the University of Oklahoma. On average, it's like 35,000 people go through there. And it is, for the longest time, it has been one of the big staples in the regional SCA recruiting. We get people coming in from Dallas, Wichita, not Wichita Falls, Kansas. And we hand out, I think on a typical day, we used to hand out 1,400 to 1,500 business cards. It's a huge, I mean, it is its own event. It is a week-long event condensed down into 3 days.
3 days, and it is officially recognized as a kingdom level event.
Yes, it is.
On,
it is
on Sierra calendar.
It's a protected calendar. No one in our region can schedule opposite it. The Crown has the right to hold court there if they choose. It's a huge deal. And it's the perfect environment because you're doing a week's worth of work in 3 days. It is the perfect environment for sanctuary.
Yes.
And this particular year, we're used to some rough weather, but this particular year, I was not able to make it at all Saturday. We had personal emergency that just kept me tied up. But you guys got hit with ugly winds Friday night, and it was cold, thick, saturating rain Saturday. So it is a huge pity that Sanctuary was a casualty because we did have to pivot and use your guys' pavilion just to keep the displays going. But there is a triumph here. Her ability to turn around and say, I can pack up my stuff, I can be out of your way, here's my pavilion. And that decision was, knowing you, was probably made in, 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of veteran SAers who, even if they wanted to, could not do that. They could not load all their kit up and get out of the way that fast. But yet, you were able to do it. You had the emotional maturity, you had the logistical backbone, you had the knowledge of your equipment. These are not small accomplishments. It sucks the decision had to be made, but from a technical standpoint, that is a major accomplishment.
Thank you. It made more sense to me just because, like I said, that's a huge recruiting event.
It is.
And we were still able to provide support. We continued to wander around with water bottles, making sure people had water.
I can't remember if it was you or your husband. One of you greeted me by handing me a gummy snack when I handed me the package of gummies and I walked up to say hi. And I'm like, I'll take it. I came in on Sunday, by the way. I wasn't there for the worst of the rain, unfortunately.
We were just glad to see you at all.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
But yeah, we still wandered around. We were handing out hot hands to everybody who needed them and just made sure everybody was taking turns around the Camp Buddy fire or heaters that we had in all the tents. Like, you know, the old movies where they have all the socks thrown over the fire grate in front of the fireplace. Literally was happening in nearly every one of those tents. The calm was the best. It was in the corner, and you'd have several people.
The calm is one of the big tents.
That's the big baronial tent for Namron. And in the back corner, we had a little propane heater going. And you had all these feet lined up in front of it and just steam coming up off of the socks. Like, we were miserable. But we were doing our best.
Something else I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You are rocking arguably one of the most colorful hoods. Let's be fair, especially in this region of the United States, that hood is not an accident. You are here making a very specific statement.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know, do you want to explain your participation and support of the community, or do you want to articulate, or is that something you'd rather just keep off the radar right now?
Well, honestly, so I don't know. For me, I am a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
I am in a heterosexual relationship, but I am bi.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in a really weird area of the United States where I feel like everybody needs advocacy. And so I choose to wear my advocacy. I don't hide it. I'm not afraid of it. I don't care. I will be as loud and proud as I absolutely feel is right. But it's hard for me to say. I support human beings.
That's fair.
In general,
That's
I support
fair.
human beings. And in my particular community, I feel like we need all the support we can get in this particular part of the country. And so if ever anybody who's watching these videos are at any of the events and you see the Skittle monster wandering around and you need somebody to hang out with just to acclimate, I'm here.
Again, also the safe place. Like,
yes.
this color scheme, there's not a concern about certain judgments.
Not at all. So.
That's, and again, I know for most of my viewers who are local, they'll understand the context, but for especially people out in West Kingdom, this really, I have told people, you want to make sure you're not walking alone while wearing these colors. Which at an SCA event is not really applicable, but it's the getting from the parking lot to the event or back again that I have actively told people as a former security professional, that is not something you want to do lightly. Right. And yet you wear them, like, I can't remember the last time I saw you not wearing those colors, at least SCA wise.
I was going to say, if you ever saw me in my civvies, you'd be disappointed in me.
Yeah,
this black and blue.
Yeah.
But I mean, these don't come out.
Yeah,
you know,
true,
so.
true. And how long have you had this hood?
This hood, I actually, I purchased it from Colfina when she was making them a while back. I've had it now about a year and a half. And as soon as I got it, it just became a part of my persona. Like, I don't feel comfortable.
It just clicked.
I don't feel comfortable not wearing it. Like,
yeah.
This is, in a lot of ways, this is one of the things that gives me the courage to be as confident as I am at events. I feel weird.
That's
not
fair.
Having my colors with me.
That's fair.
You know.
That's fair.
It's definitely just. That's why I'm changing to being a parent. Yeah. It's me.
No, it is. It is. And I'll throw out that while the pride flag and the banded rainbow are modern invocations, the idea of political or social association through displayed colors, we can date that to Babylon and Mesopotamia. So this is, in the principle of how it's being used, this display on her person is absolutely in line with some of the strongest historical traditions. So again, the C in SCA is creative anachronisms, but I normally don't call out things like this, but I'm like, no, you're rocking a flag. Yeah. This is a statement. Let's talk about it.
When I first joined on, I was so concerned about the social norm of the SCA. You know, I had been introduced to it when I was 15 years old, and I never got the opportunity to join. Mm-hmm. And then that Halloween happened, and I was like, oh, here's my opportunity 20 years later. Yeah. Or whatever, some odd years later. And, so I did the whole earth tones and the standard tunics and what have you. And then I went into this phase where, I'm always buzzing around, kind of like you. I'm always buzzing around, doing things, and trying to find other things
Buzzing's
to
the
do.
most
and-
polite word I've heard used for me, but okay.
So I went through this short phase where this tunic and this belt were to be my bumblebee garb, because I buzz
Okay.
around like a bumblebee.
Yeah, okay.
And then I came by this tunic,
Then
or
you-
by this hood, and I was
hood.
like, no.
You found your place.
I found my color scheme. Like
Yeah.
if I ever have to settle on a device, I'm screwed.
Well, for the record, as a herald, I can tell you, you can register up to 10 different pieces of heraldry.
I still gotta register my name.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there. It took me 5 years. Do you? I mean, obviously, you're known for Sanctuary, and that's kind of between that and the Skittle Monster motif.
Yeah,
Those
the
are
loudness of the garb.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you do that maybe people aren't so readily knowledge? No, they don't realize. If there are two things I've learned that drive videos these days, it's controversy and engagement. Now, I am never going to fly the controversy flag on a regular basis. It's not what I'm here for. It's not the content I want to make, and I really don't think it helps any of us. But let's do engagement. If you like this video, please go down in the comments and leave a comment. Make sure to share the video. And last but not least, easiest of all, make sure to like the video. That helps drive the algorithm. It helps get the video views and helps promote this material. Thank you very much.